Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the July 17th Board of County Commissioners Workshop. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first off, we have a request to place a large flag on the outdoor arena at the fairgrounds. And do we have, I don't see Miss Yates or Robyne Cote?
Cote.
Huh?
Cote.
Cote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we'll go right on that, right by that. And we do have an update from Miss
Clarissa.
Osborn. I had to read that and find out, who is this person? Come on in.
I was just introducing the new district attorney. He didn't have court today, so able to come and join, see his smiling face. Not much of an update. We have some new attorneys that I think should be starting with us soon. Mr. Hatfield's found one that hopefully can start this week or next week. And then we have another that is moving from Las Vegas out here, and he's working on his application to the Colorado bar. And so hopefully he starts in August. And we are almost fully staffed with support staff. I think I might have one more position that'll need filled here in about a month or so, but otherwise we're doing pretty good on that front, so that's promising for now. And just plugging away. We had 2 trials last week, and so just working through the docket the best we can with 3 at the moment, but hopefully adding more people soon so we can just keep knocking it out. And then you guys get to see my face on Friday for budgets, so I'll save my speech about that for then.
Okay, great. Well, do you want to come on down, Mr. Hatfield, and go ahead and introduce yourself to the public? And
Sure.
And then just if you guys had any questions.
Hi, I'm Christian Hatfield, and as of June 1st, I'm the new district attorney here, and I brought my former law partner, Jason Ely, as my first assistant district attorney, and we've tried 2 cases so far since then, and we're plugging away at it.
so as far as the backlog, I do have a question for you. Where do we stand in that backlog? Because obviously we were terribly behind, but
It's actually not so bad. I talked with all the judges, and they don't seem to have a backlog, and neither do we. As long as we keep this pace up, I think we're fine. All the active cases are pending. We haven't blown any deadlines, and we're trying a case in county court every 2 or 3 weeks, and you saw the big felony case just ended. And so no, we're pretty current with everything.
okay,
Good.
good, and almost fully staffed.
And almost fully staffed.
First time I have good news.
Well, that's good.
No, but welcome. Welcome to our community. And
Nice to
Yep.
meet you.
Thank you.
Yep, welcome.
Privileged to be here.
All right, thank you. We'll see you later. Okay, now, I'm going to make room for all the microphones, if you guys can gather around down here. But basically, this is a conversation for a board-to-board-to-board conversation with MCHD, SHS, and the Board of County Commissioners.
We need more room, we can make more room.
And, yep.
I'll have to open our meeting before we get started.
That's fine.
I'll do it here.
And we may have to kind of pass around a mic, so I'm going to ask you to speak closely and clearly into it. This is also recorded, and it's actually live out on YouTube, so that the public has the opportunity to hear everything that we're saying. Make sure you have a mic in front of you. Otherwise, we can hear you in the room, but sometimes on TV, they cannot. So just make sure you get it nice and close and speak into it clearly. And with that, Brandon, I'll
Okay,
give that.
MCHD, well, call this meeting to order. Rob, will you take a roll?
Yes, Brandon Johnson,
Here.
Orly Lucero. Here. Bill Thompson.
Here.
Sean Flaherty.
Here.
Gayla Pock. Here. And Robert Dobry on here.
All present and counted for. This is a work session only.
Correct. So basically what, first of all, thank all of you for being here. I'm very appreciative of you guys making the time to come here. But with the recent closing and then reopening of the birthing center, it just brought a lot of things to light that hopefully we can be a conduit or a way to open up a dialogue in this room. There is no public comment in here. It's basically just a board-to-board conversation, and to see how we can make sure that we secure our hospital and that we don't lose it. But here again, to get all of the information out, you know, we feel that this is a better venue maybe to hold this meeting. Thank you for SHS Board for sending your representatives a couple weeks ago to give us kind of an update of what was going on. Appreciate that also, but since Shirley, Ms. Jones, you haven't had the opportunity to really address the board, I'm going to give you the opportunity to address us first and just to start this dialogue.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So basically, the decision was made to put a pause on our labor and delivery services because of staffing issues. It was never decided to close the unit. It was just a temporary pause for the ability to bring in more staff, we're basically, so our financing, we have to maintain 80 days cash on hand. And at the time we made this decision, we were going through we were burning $8,000 more a day than what we were bringing in. Our OB folks had some family leave and circumstances. They were not going to be available for July, August, part of September. We were going to have to staff it with, we have to staff, if we have our labor and delivery unit, we have to staff with a doctor that can perform C-sections and a doctor that could offer pediatric care. So we have some of our family practice folks that offer the pediatric care, but we only have one pediatrician and she only does 5 days of call. So we were trying to fill with primary care folks the other 25 days. But with the two OB, the only ones that were certified for C-sections being out, that's $5,000 a day to cover them with travelers or locum positions. So we were trying to make cuts, and like I said, we were going to pause the services in an effort to save our current cash for the 2 months that the OBs were going to be out. Since then, we have changed our minds and we are trying to cut cost in other areas. We have to, we can't keep using more cash than what we have on hand. So that was the start of this. The hospital, with their June finances that are not reviewed yet, I believe we have 70 days cash on hand. So we're still below 10 days, or still short 10 days for our finance agreement. Since then, we've also entered into a new lease agreement with the MCHD board, and in an effort to try to build up some cash for our capital improvement projects that need the new roof and whatnot. Does that sum up what happened? It was widely publicized in the Cortez Journal, the drama, and then when this is on a Thursday, on a Monday, we had already decided to keep it open, asked the Journal to print that, and almost a week and a half later, they printed that. I was still getting emails about how concerned they were that it was closing even after we had made the decision to keep it open. So I'm a little disappointed in the reporting on that end. So
there were some of the questions that we had when your representatives came in here a couple weeks ago, and some of them are, you referenced the finance agreement and the 80 days cash on hand. So since 2019, I don't think we've ever had 80 days cash on hand. So question one is that really realistic? Are these, the finance agreements, are they all with local banks? I mean, does that work with MCHD? How does that work? And is it really an achievable goal, or is that something, how does this finance agreement that you guys have with whoever it is?
Montezuma County.
No, I mean, the finance agreement
So,
with the banks, the local banks.
Yeah, but
Where is
that's
that?
So-
that's a different deal than what's mandatory as far as their cash on hand. The
Correct.
cash on
Was
hand
that part of
deal
their
is with
covenant or
Montezuma
that's
County.
part of the covenant of the loan agreement.
Okay, so that's the loan agreement.
Yes.
So that, I guess that's where I was headed.
And so, yes, we've had 80 days cash on hand from, I think we were in default up until June of 2021, and we started meeting our 80 days cash on hand. We have since, like I said, dropped down below that. The banking syndicate are some local banks. Vectra is kind of the lead on that. And they have, so the loan is actually SHS's, we're on the loan. MCHD provides sales tax to supplement our payments, but if the county doesn't come up with whatever, we have to make up the difference. So it's $302. Okay, $303,000 a month.
So just a little breakdown, just so you know, I think Vectra Bank does like about 51%, and then each bank around here, like Dolores, Southwest, Valley, they all got a little tiny percentage of the.
Of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Vector's
Yeah, I think
51%.
there's 7 banks all involved with Vectra being
I
one of
think
them.
that's correct. And then also, their credit folks are the ones that come down and meet with us, and we give them a report of our finances and whatnot, or with Vectra. So we have to make the banks happy.
Understand. So the next thing was board members. I think they represented that out of the entire board, that there were only 3 board members. Is that
No, we have
correct? Or is
4.
there 4? Okay.
So one of our board members works for the Red Cross, and he's out of town on his job. And then we have another one that just had cataract surgery, so she couldn't make it. We have 3 or 4 potential board members that have put in their applications. We've tried to get board members, but I don't know.
Well, trust me, we understand how difficult it is to get board members to fill seats because we appoint several boards and we struggle also. So is there anything that we can do to help you, maybe along with MCHD, to get good, strong, competent people to this board? I mean, any recommendations, ideas, thoughts?
Well, this has really brought out some very good candidates for our board. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's a positive.
When do you anticipate putting on new board members?
September.
And how is that created? Who picks those? What's the process?
So the process is, if you have an interest, you contact Leah Wright with the hospital. She fills out, or she sends you a questionnaire, and we ask for a resume. Then that's distributed to the board. Our secretary, who is Sean Killoy, I can never pronounce his name, he kind of reviews it and then brings it to the board. We do ask that potential candidates sit in on some of our meetings so they kind of know what they're getting themselves in for, and then we elect them or
So-
approve them.
So the board approves them?
Yes, the board approves them.
Seated board?
Yes, yes, we don't have to do elections or anything.
Okay, so it's more an appointment.
Pardon?
It's more an appointment
Yes.
then. Okay, I'm trying to look back at my notes. Do you have anything off the top of your head, Commissioner? Commissioner? Okay, as far as communication with MCHD board, do you guys? and
Commissioner,
again-
I had some notes and some suggestions, and
Okay.
if I could go through it and then we could kind of talk about the
Absolutely.
detail a little bit, I think
You bet.
that could be helpful. So, one, I wanted to thank the community for their input over the last month and ask for their continued engagement and support of healthcare in Montezuma County. It's critically important for our community. Our board, MCHD, recognizes the need for both transparency and accountability with both of our boards for the residents of our community to ensure that quality healthcare continues to be available to all the members of our community and to support the health and welfare of our community in general. So with that, we had a few suggestions. I basically focusing on transparency and accountability as in process of how we can address some of those things. So for transparency, at our meeting, the MCHD meeting on July 12th, MCHD acted to add our webpage as an official posting location for our meetings. We'll be posting all of our agendas and minutes there for the community to be accessible for the community. We are asking SHS to keep their bylaws as well as agendas and minutes available on the website to foster that same transparency. I think that would be beneficial for the community to be able to keep track of what's going on in general. And then on the accountability side, we've already, both organizations have already agreed in the updated lease negotiations that that SHS would attend all MCHD board meetings, and we would have regular, I think quarterly is what we decided on, board-to-board meetings as part of this process to work on both strategic planning and as well as focus on the facility and make sure that we have a facility that's in appropriate care, that has an appropriate level of care and maintenance. So one of the things that MCHD would like to ask is an additional covenant in the lease that SHS consult and notify MCHD of any potential or contemplated closure of any critical service at least 30 days in advance of any public action with that. I think that would help us work together board to board to be able to make sure that we can ensure health care in this community. And then on the community accountability side, MCHD, one of the things we want to make sure is that SHS is acting in a reasonable time on potential board applicants. We have a letter that we'll give to MCHD with some of our suggestions. I think in the letter we suggested 15 days when there are vacancies on the board, but But really, it could be any reasonable time, but just a set time in the bylaws that says we'll address this matter by a certain amount of time. We also would like to work with SHS to develop a plan to strengthen the SHS board and to make it more accountable to the entire community through changes to the board selection process, to ensure that our community has a voice in the management of their health care. And with that, I think we would welcome the support of the commissioners as well as the municipalities in that process to find a way to have this board be sustainable and make sure that it's both sustainable and accountable to the community. And those are kind of the bullet points of the suggestions we had, and we were hoping that we could kind of talk in detail a little bit about that with SHS and with commissioners.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll start at the top, and I don't have that in front of me, so my writing was not near as quick as you went.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So we'll start with the first one, which was the minutes and the meetings that are posted on your websites, our websites, or
We have a page, MCHD has a page within the Southwest Health System website, we're going to be posting all of our agendas. We had in the past, and it sort of fell by the wayside, but we've instructed staff to make sure that happens and is ongoing. And also, in the past, the official posting sites for our meetings, for our agendas and our meetings, have been the county building and the hospital physical locations. Those will remain, but we're also adding, at our last meeting, we added the website as an official location, so that has to be up to date. We'll communicate that with DOLA as we're required.
okay. That seems pretty
So-
reasonable. That doesn't, is that?
So we've already been making arrangements to post our agendas as well, and our minutes, and some key indicators for our financials will also be on the website. So that's,
We all struggle with getting the word out. I mean, you get a lot of inaccuracies, but it would give credence to have one official spot where people could go to find, that we could send them to say,
Right.
Go look here.
right, yes. Yes, we're in the process of doing that after this.
Okay, so that one sounds like
good.
it's,
Including the bylaws and stuff, that'll all be published on there?
They will be.
Okay,
Oh, he says they will.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that.
Okay.
along with the bylaw. Okay. All right, number 2 was, were the updated quarterly meetings? It sounds like you guys have already
We've pretty much agreed on those.
agreed?
The other thing that we were asking is just to have it in the lease that any potential closure or significant change, like I think it was noticed as a temporary closure, but anything that SHS is changing about departments, I guess, that they notify MCHD or consult with MCHD in advance. So, potentially we could find a way to help with situations like that, and I think that's something our board is certainly willing to do if we're consulted. I think we can help with.
I have no problem with the notification. We just signed a new lease agreement. I'm not sure about the reality of putting it in and re-signing.
We haven't agreed. Our board hasn't agreed to it yet. We have a special meeting scheduled for Wednesday.
Okay, well, then that would put off again.
Well, we don't want to. We don't want to delay. We obviously don't want to delay things. We recognize the importance of the finances of the situation, but we do want to make sure that we're building in these kind of accountability things, both for us and for the community. And I think offering as part of that the ability for your board to reach out to our board where we can, to help where we can. We do have access to some financial means, I guess, and while we can't help operate the hospital, I think just the concept of the reamortization based on the sales tax is a pretty good example of how we can help in general with the operation and supporting.
Rob,
supporting.
could we put in there advance notice rather than 30 days? Because sometimes we may not get that much
I understand. I'd be fine with something like that, and we can work out the details. We just wanted to, before this meeting, we wanted to come up with some potential ideas on how to address some of that stuff.
Is that, I mean, agreeable?
Other than having it in the lease and delaying our signing of the lease, that's my only holdback on that. So,
I mean, you're certainly welcome to, your board would be welcome to come to the SHS meeting, and we could, on Wednesday, and we could redline a couple things and add a couple things. I think, as long as it wasn't complicated, and I don't think that what we're looking for is super detailed legalese, really. I think we just want to make sure that we have some feedback mechanisms to where our board and your board can stay in communication, and that we get notified about important things that are going on. Because we get the same, like you were saying, you're getting emails and calls. We get the same calls, we get the same emails, but we didn't have any notice of the potential closure.
So you knew when we knew. Just FYI.
So who made the decision
yeah.
then?
Huh?
Who made the decision? You called the night before it was closing. So surely there was a little bit of planning prior
Well,
to.
there was planning,
closing
but
that
because of personnel issues and a lot of stuff like that, we can't really discuss our workings with outside personnel.
But
so-
you had a little heads up, maybe say a
Um,
week?
Not that long.
Oh,
Long enough to get it into the newspaper.
No, the newspaper did that.
So-
We did a public.
Phone call would have been nice,
Huh? I did give you a phone call.
not me.
she's
So-
only required
I-
to talk to me.
I know that.
So,
I notified Rob. And it was very short notice, and obviously, if we had to do it all over again, even if we were to go back to saying the pause, we would have done it differently.
Sure.
It was not thought out as good as it should have been. So I definitely, that's our bad. But we did notify the board as soon as we knew.
okay.
I'm a
So-
little uncomfortable with not having some kind of date deadline.
Get a little closer to the mic.
We have a date deadline.
So can you
with
pull
the
that mic,
With the commissioners,
pull the mic to your,
that if we aren't going to be able to do something, or we're going to delay something, the commissioners can take over that entity and make the appointment of a new board member. And I think if we need to have that type of thing, I think you need to have that for us, that you can give us some kind of date, rather than just advance notice.
okay. So so it sounds like the decision was made, and again, what's happened is water under the bridge. I'm just trying to figure out, how do we move forward, work together, all of us, and have this be a real positive outcome, because what has happened for all of us was probably not real positive.
No, it was not positive at all. And
And-
like I said, if we had to do it all over again, me personally, I don't think I'm at liberty to say, we'll give you 15 days, or we'll give you 30 days, or 40. I mean, that's a decision that the whole board needs to make with our legal counsel. So I'm, at this time, not comfortable.
Right, and I
We can
understand that.
do advance notice, but I can't.
And this is, although you actually have an open meeting going, you guys could make a decision. We don't make decisions today either, so we're in the same situation. This is just a dialogue, a discussion. We don't make any decisions today
I'm
either.
not,
so-
I wasn't asking for a date today, but I think we need something more than advance notice.
Correct. And I
Well-
think that's what she's saying, is that she'll take it back to the board. They can discuss it further and then you can come up with your, a conclusion. But you also, I mean, also, if you guys can, like you were just offered to come to their meeting on Wednesday night, I think that just opens up, I realize it's another meeting, but a lot of times being on a board just means another meeting is bad, I hate to say it.
Well, and just from where I'm sitting, language like advance notice, that's pretty broad, and it creates some problems. I mean, I think getting a specific number of days would make a lot of sense from a legal perspective, because then you're clear. I mean, the other thing here, we're not talking about things that are going to be completely unanticipated. We're talking about potential closures or significant changes. And when you're talking about something that big, to think that something like that's going to happen overnight is probably, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And so getting some kind of time frame in there, I think that would make a lot of sense, whatever that time frame might be that you guys agreed to.
Yeah, and we suggested 30 days, just, I mean, it was a kind of a starting point, but I think that's something that we, our two boards can work through. We just want to make sure that we can be included in that process, and because we know that the community comes to us, the community comes to you, we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to ensure that there's quality health care here.
And I think just nailing down something specific,
Absolutely.
whatever that is,
Whatever
whatever that
exactly,
number
whatever-
is, just
whatever
having
that
it so there's no subjectivity to it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next bullet point, I was not writing quick enough, so.
So that one, we suggested that SHS add a time period. I think we suggested 15 days, but the same with the previous thing. We could figure out what that time period is, but have some time period in your bylaws that you take some kind of official action for board applicants, so that they're not sitting out there for a long period of time, and that if someone applies, they know that their application will be acted on in a certain amount of time. And again, we suggested 15 days. I mean, that could be, if that doesn't work, I know you regularly meet monthly, but that would be, anyway, the date amount, that could be worked out. But the idea of just, as the county attorney was saying, just a set number so that people know what to expect when they're applying. And then the second piece of that, which I think is kind of the more important piece, we want to find ways and make sure that we can strengthen the SHS board. We know you've struggled to get new members. It's been a long time, and you've been down to 4 members. And we're open to anything, whether in this meeting or in an executive session, whatever kind of conversation you want to have about how we can find a way, whether it's a different process to, and this obviously, it's not a lease thing. This would have to do with you making changes, you SHS making changes to your bylaws about how you choose board members, and potentially including the other boards in the community to help you do that. So that was kind of sort of a starting point I think we wanted to have of a discussion about that.
We'll take that into consideration. I know part of our bylaws is we can't have any government employees, board members on our board, because that's conflict of interest. So I'm not sure about.
Explain to me how that's conflict of interest.
Our bylaws say that we cannot have any government members on our SHS board because we are in a lease agreement with Montezuma County Hospital District, which is another government board. So we can't have.
Does that exclude city council members?
Actually, it does. We just have in our bylaws that we will have no government members.
I would seriously think about amending your bylaws, because you're excluding some really qualified people.
That are on other boards.
And I understand
that
elected officials, like county commissioners or SHS board members, but city council members and other district board members, I don't think.
I would have to consult with our legal counsel, because I know that is in our board bylaws because of the conflict of interest aspect. So I would have to see what the conflicts could be. So,
I would consider more financial guys than anything else would be excluded because they have a monetary interest in this.
they have a monetary interest in that, and that would be a conflict of interest. I mean, right there would be a conflict of interest. To have some government employee be voting and doing things on our board that are not just necessarily for hospital operations. So, like I said, I would have to get with our legal counsel and see why they think, you know, it would be a conflict. I know that we cannot have any SHS employees on our board. And so there's just a list of people.
Do you have a nepotism policy out along with the board?
We have everybody sign a conflict of interest statement, and I know that nobody on the board could be a direct supervisor or involved in direct supervision of any hospital employee.
Yeah, I serve on another board, and even as a board member, none of my family can work for that company.
In a different setting, and I don't know that that changes your thoughts, but in a different setting, when I was superintendent of schools, some of my most important information that I received came from employees. Who else is going to tell you more truthfully than somebody that's getting paid by you? And they're going to take care of themselves, but they're also going to take care of their friends that are teachers and those kinds of things. We never had a problem.
Is there also a way you can change them or modify them?
The bylaws?
Yes.
Um,
So who does that if you so want?
Well, like I said, we would have to consult with our legal team on what we need to do. I mean, I can't do it.
You're chairman of the board. You can review and amend the policies as you see fit as the board.
Well, I would have to consult with legal to make sure I'm doing it correctly.
But I think it's a lot different if it's a request by the board to have some input from staff, more than it would be legal or illegal. And I know that's a
I guess
personal
I don't
thing.
understand. We do have input from different employees, so I'm not sure.
How do the employees differ in some able to have that and others not?
Well, we work with the senior leadership team who,
So the senior leadership can say that you can give input, but somebody else can't give input?
I guess I just don't understand the question.
I think it was more of a statement.
Okay.
So, okay, so Shirley, then I've got, you will check with your council about conflict.
Yeah, we'll
conflicts with the
discuss
board.
the different changes that they're suggesting, you know, how we handle board applications, if we need to change up our bylaws to allow different things, the way we conduct our business.
Mhm. Right,
And so, yeah.
and that's
Well-
fair. Consult with your council. How long have you been vacant, these other board members? How long have they been vacant?
About 4 years,
Well,
3 or 4.
they've came and they've gone. So Dan and I are the longest-serving members. Susan has been with us for some time. Sean is our newest board member. We did have a couple of board members come on and go off during the pandemic. So it's kind of, it has fluctuated between, we've never had more than 6 since I've been on here.
Do you,
But-
sorry if you were, I was just going to ask, do you have board terms, and do you have like term limits? Can you do, I don't know what your terms would be, but can you do however long your term is, and then you have a limit on the number of terms?
Yeah, they're 3 years, and then 2 of those.
You can do 2 of those, okay. Because I guess like what our board, we're just trying to find a way to provide, to help your board to provide some new board members and new strength to your board. I know it's been difficult. I certainly wouldn't want to be on your board and not be able to board recruit. And so that was basically the idea, is that we would be willing and open to work with your board to help you find ways to be a stronger board. And if you're willing to do that, I think that would be helpful for the community. We just want to make sure that there's, one, healthcare is such an important thing here, and I mean anywhere, but we are here, so it's important here. And we just want to find a way to make Southwest Health Board operate as strongly as possible, and have a board that doesn't struggle to get members. And if that means that method has to change to help with that, I think I would hope that you'd be open to it, I guess, is sort of what our board was thinking.
I'm open to any suggestions that you may have. I just don't know about like a formal process any candidates that you would want to direct our way, we are more than happy to consider them. So, yeah, it's just.
I guess like the reason that we're suggesting addressing and looking at the process is because we have, like you said, you've been without a number of board members for a number of years, and we have sent board members towards you when we could, and I know that some didn't work out and whatever, but it does seem like the ability of Southwest Health to recruit board members is a critical thing for our community, and we want to make sure that we can help in any way, and if the commissioners can help with that, or anyone else can help with that, that we develop a process that works better than what we're doing right now, I guess, is what we're suggesting. And obviously you can't agree to, it's not like we have a bullet point list of you need to do this, 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 and this. We want to have a dialogue with your board about how we can fix it, how we can get things to work better than they have.
Yeah, we're open to any suggestions.
Okay.
Okay. And then, is there?
That was
any
all.
other
That was
bullet
every-
point that
that's
okay, so I
everything I
didn't
had.
do too bad. So, what other suggestions might you have, Shirley?
Well, we're trying to recruit more family practice that doctors that have that can do OB. So it's not so dedicated to OBGYN, so they can see other members of the community. We did lose one doctor that did that. She did a sabbatical. She may be coming back. Just in the recruiting and getting the providers to, see the number of patients that they need to see to ensure that we're making the money that we need to make. I'm very excited that Joe Thine is coming in as our new CEO. He has a lot of experience with providers, and I'm thinking this is going to be the thing that's going to get us kick-started. So he starts July 24th.
And I hope so. So that's next week, because I think that was part of the conversation that we had a couple weeks ago was the instability of the leadership. I mean,
Well,
this was, we've had one CEO and the rest have all been interims, right? I think.
no.
No?
We've had two. So I was not here in 2018 when they did the big RIF, and we had 2 days cash on hand. So they were in a unique position that they had Tony Sudduth that
Came
came
in.
from wherever, and we were not in a position to be recruiting CEOs who would want to come to a hospital that could close anytime. So we did have Tony. He did not work out for us. We did ask him to step down. He resigned. We've had a interim CEO. We made it very clear that that position, that person that was in that role would not be staying on as permanent. We did have another permanent come on that did not work out either. Our hope is that Joe is in the community and has no desire to leave. Sometimes recruiting from outside the area, you know, the CEO may like it here, but their spouses are not thrilled with the area. So Joe knows what he's getting in for. So I'm very excited about having him come on.
Okay. So what, I mean, if you can, what is the true viability of our hospital right now? What is the strength of it continuing on? And I think that's the biggest question that everybody is asking is, you know, if although the birthing center is now reopened, but, you know, what's the stability of SHS right now, and what can you forecast for us in the next near future, I guess?
I guess, Dan, stop me if you don't think I'm correct here, but
Again, we're not trying to pin anybody here. This is just an open conversation and a dialogue. We realize nobody's making decisions. It's just how are we brainstorming, and we're asking the questions that I'm sure you guys have got all the emails and the phone calls just like we did about what is going on. So it's just really a question for the public. Where do we stand? Where do we stand with SHS right now?
so our labor and delivery services, 65% of our women go to Durango, to OBs there. They have 7 full-time OBs and, I don't know, 5 or 6 pediatricians. So covering call is not the issue. They don't have to hire the expensive locums travelers like we do. They deliver 1,000 babies a year. Montezuma Cortez or Southwest Memorial Hospital delivers tops 175. Again, we were on record to be losing how many millions in the labor and delivery. The thing that's going to help stabilize that is to have good providers that women want to see in our community, have providers that can do other things besides deliver babies, so we can cover our other health needs, and we have got to quit using locum and travelers. Pagosa, I spoke with them. They don't offer labor and delivery because it's just too expensive. Telluride doesn't have labor and delivery. It's nice that we offer that. We've got to cut the amount of money that we spend on that down somehow. The biggest thing that we can do, again, is have more doctors on staff that can do the call, so we're not doing that expensive call. I mean, that's like, I mean, that's the reason why we made that decision. We cannot do that. And I know that we're unique, that our hospital also, it's not exactly like Pagosa because we've got the Dolores County folks coming in. We've got other people, so if you had a Dolores County resident having to go to Durango, it would be more of a hardship than you do if you have someone Pagosa that has to go into Durango. Again, just getting our staffing up to where we don't have to have that expensive call coverage. And like I said, I've got big hopes in Joe.
Okay. When we had a public health conversation last Monday, and one of the pieces that came up, because we asked the same questions, are what are the roadblocks in your way of getting people to come here? Is it housing? Is it salaries? Is it just the environmental community? I mean, what is it? What do you see? Is there a way we can help you?
That's a that's a good question. I think you can Google, the crisis in rural hospitals and come up with, just dozens and dozens of articles. I was looking it up. There's 2,300 rural hospitals in the United States, and 600 of those are in a crisis situation that they may be closing. Are you guys familiar with Leadville and Delta, the situation that they're in? And I mean, it just, reimbursement is a big factor because the rural hospitals don't get reimbursed at the rate of the urban hospitals. Staff shortages. It is difficult to bring, doctors into a rural area because, if it's like Shirley said, the spouse may not, like it. They're used to, shopping and all the things that a big city can offer, and we don't have that. And a lot of times we have to supplement that. We actually pay more in this area, Southwest, than, let's say, Grand Junction, but it's still difficult. I don't know what the answer is. I think that's what so many hospitals are trying to figure out.
One of the reason why we were 80 days cash on hand, because we were getting COVID funds, which really helped us in a pinch. I mean, that was good for us. Dan says our reimbursement rate, because our community has a higher Medicare, Medicaid folks, so we don't have the payer mix that says, like Durango, they've got private insurance that pays more than our hospital. Reimbursement is, what,
47%.
47%. So, I mean, healthcare finances are, I just can't believe. Anyways, hospitals are hard. And to know what you're going to get reimbursed and the cost reporting and all of that is another mystery to me. They do a square footage and patient access. Anyways, it's very...
There's so many rules and regulations
Yes.
that the federal government, state governments lay down on us that it's really tough to navigate them. And that's one reason why, a management company like CHC helps us a lot, because it's just unbelievable what we have to go through. in every department, you know, from accounting, IT, personnel, you know.
Finances.
Finances.
The cost reporting is huge.
Okay, so the reimbursement rate, obviously, you know, what you stated because of our community Medicaid, Medicare. What about the whole Humana debacle? We all heard a lot about that, but how did that affect us here? Because that obviously was a reimbursement type
So-
situation also, and how did that affect you all as SHS?
So Medicare Advantage programs are not good for our hospital. It says Medicare on the front, but it's a private insurance. And so our Medicare patients, the number of people that we see figures into our cost report. And so we get reimbursed more on actual Medicare patients. Our Medicare Advantage folks do not get figured into our cost report. So right off the top, we don't get that extra reimbursement because we're a rural health clinic or rural health care hospital. The Humana was not reimbursing at the rate that they were contracted for. There's a lot of these Medicare Advantage programs that authorize services, and then after the services have been completed, deny services. So our people in billing and just spend an inordinate amount of time going back and trying to just get what they say they're going to pay. And so Medicare Advantage is not our friends at all.
You had to ask about Humana. This figure is somewhat old. It's from Jeannie Gentry, so it's at least 3 or so months old. But she had said that Humana owed us between $1.25 and $1.5 million at that time. Now, we all know that Southwest Health System doesn't take Humana anymore. They stopped taking it in December. So that's money that's got to be at least owed for 6 months. Now, Humana intends to leave the state of Colorado at the end of 2023, and our chances of collecting that $1.25 to $1.5 million drops substantially, I would think, once they're gone from the state. Jeannie was working with the Colorado Insurance Commissioner trying to get this resolved. Once she's gone, I haven't heard anything more about it, but I don't believe that we've made much, if any, progress against collecting that better than $1 million from Humana. And what are our chances of it? Not something I'd want to bet on. I mean, you know, $1 million can make a difference.
Oh, yeah. Quite a
And
big
that's
difference.
back to them authorizing, then denying, just doctors coding. They don't have the right code. They do have the right code. They've got some training for our physicians to be putting in the right codes. It's complex, and it's just not Humana. It is all Medicare Advantage programs that are not. But you know, at what point do you just not take any of them, or you know, then everybody that has them, it's on a self-pay. It's not the advantage to our community to not take insurances that they have. But Humana is doing away with all their other insurance lines and just sticking with the Humana Medicare Advantage programs because they're making so much money on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'd send them to collections.
Humana, yeah,
Good luck on that.
another insurance company, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, you ding their credit, it dings their corporate standing. They kind of.
They're making a lot of money for their shareholders.
They kind of protect that. When your credit rating takes a hit, stockholders don't like that.
Well, I'm not in charge of billing either. I just know that
Right. No,
it's
I-
not a good thing for the hospital.
So the viability question, you know, are we down a good path right now? Are we still proceeding ahead? Everything is kind of back to a status quo for right now. You know, hopefully we can get, Joe's coming on next week. We can get a few more board members seated, and hopefully, it seems like that's the path, the viability of what we're looking at right now. Am I correct?
Yes, I think the viability of the hospital is very good. There would be questions, I guess, if we can't make the labor and delivery department viable. The way we have to do that, like I said, is hire more providers that can do other stuff besides deliver babies at $175 a year. That's just, I mean,
Sure.
those babies are costing the county a lot. Anyways, so we just need to make sure that we get some of these savings on board so we can continue on. So.
Don't expect the hospital ever to be making money. It's a nonprofit in more ways than one. For example, almost half of our clients are Medicare, and Medicare reimburses at 98%. Well, we all know that's not a good business model, but that's a fact of life, and that's just one of the things. That's just one example of why the hospital is never going to be plush. But we're making it, and I think we will continue to make it.
And there's other areas of cost savings that, for one, our irrigation program. You know, every little bit helps. And so the hospital bought shares or gets to use shares. Repeat that correctly.
The hospital district bought, MCHD bought Montezuma Valley irrigation shares and installed and connected irrigation. So rather than using municipal water, the hospital campus is now on irrigation water, and that saves, I think, around $50,000 a year. So we're looking for other. Our board, in coordination with their board, is also looking for other efficiency things. I think there's probably some grant opportunities and some around power and things like that. Some efficiency things we can look at to save. But the other thing I wanted to say about that is, it's important for the people here to use the hospital and not just use it when you have an emergency, but use it for your primary care, use it for imaging, use it for all the things, because those are the things that help pay for emergency to be available and for labor and delivery to be available in this community. And that's sort of how a hospital works, is that there's the things that pay and then the things that don't. And we as a community recognize that we need to keep doing the things that maybe don't pay, but the hospital does need community support of people to go there. It's a great hospital. It's a great facility with great providers, and we recommend. I mean, it's easier than driving over the hill. So stay in Montezuma County and come to the hospital. And the one other thing I wanted to say about the finances is, as Shirley said, the hospital SHS has about 70 days cash on hand. This situation is not anything like the situation in 2018, 2017, 2018, where they were down to single-digit days cash on hand, 2, 3, hours potentially. That's not the situation that the hospital is in now. It's just about making sure that the hospital continues to be financially viable and isn't losing money quickly. And that, I mean, that's part of it, is the hospital has to look for places to be efficient. We, as the MCHD board, are going to try and help where we can around the facility and see where we can save some costs there and help SHS that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, be sure to buy your marijuana in Montezuma County so that we get the tax off of it, please.
And
The tax off of the sales of marijuana has gone down since our neighbors have legalized the sale of marijuana in New Mexico. So that, I mean, you know, just one little suggestion.
don't buy it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, we need some levity.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah,
I-
anyways,
I,
I feel like our hospital is actually very good. Mercy is struggling as well with having people, nurses, all healthcare is struggling with nurses, and actually our hospital provides good service, competent, very, very good providers, and it's a great place to be sick at.
Okay, so I'm watching the clock. I have about 5 more minutes, and it's kind of been an hour conversation. I don't want to keep anybody too long. But the last question that I have is, I lost my train of thought. But where, again, at our public health meeting, you know, how do we, what can we do to help you guys? I mean, really, I think that's what MCHD's board is asking, is don't feel like you're out there on the island by yourself. If we continue to have conversations and let everybody know that, you know, there are struggles out there, I mean, do you guys, what can we do to help you more?
Well, I'm optimistic in that the MCHD board and SHS have been working together, I feel like, and we're making progress on some of the items that we need to make progress on. I'm very excited about the new board members that we have coming on, or that show an interest. Hopefully, they'll go ahead and say yes. That'll be great for us. It's hard to attend board meetings if you need to divide and conquer, because if there's only 2 of us in town, or, you know, somebody not available, it's definitely better to have a bigger board so other members can do the board meetings. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if you need more of a presence at your meeting. I mean, our hospital, our senior leadership team, they go to your meetings in general?
Quarterly, I think.
Quarterly.
Quarterly.
We get them in here quarterly.
I've wondered if we shouldn't do an update like at the city council meeting, or if we need
I
to
think that would be helpful
more
because-
involved in just kind of hitting the meetings that you can kind of say what's going on with our finances. Like I said, some key indicators, and then that way nobody feels like they're in the dark. Our meeting are posted. In theory, public can comment on the first half of
Do you
it.
record those also?
Huh?
Do you record them also?
Uh,
Are they live, like we're live right now? There could be, the whole community could be watching this conversation. Are they live?
we,
They usually are, but I don't know if we record them.
Yeah, no, I don't think they
I
record
think that
them.
would be helpful if you can do that. I know the city of Cortez, their council meetings are all live, ours are all live. I'm not sure, Commissioner, about Mancus's. I think they're recorded, but I don't know if they're
They're
live.
recorded, but I don't think they're live.
I think that would be helpful in the transparency part of it, just so that people can go back and look at it and watch it and get to hear the actual whole conversation instead of bits and pieces of it. So just a suggestion, I mean.
Yeah, no,
obviously-
I think that's a good suggestion. Like I said, I would like to present to our board, I don't know, a list of meetings that they think would be beneficial for us to attend and just kind of give an update. So, but people can come to our meetings. We have them monthly. They're also advertised for the MCHD. Both meetings give a financial update of the hospital, of SHS.
Okay. And then I'm gonna ask you guys the same question. Are your meetings live and are they open?
They're recorded and they are live, Zoom or, I think we went, go to meeting.
I don't think our meetings are on YouTube at the moment, so, yeah.
Go to meeting?
But that's not kept, that's just during the meeting, it's not.
So the way that works is it's posted on the agenda. So if you want to get on the agenda, you log in and you can see.
Right,
What's
but
happening?
once the meeting's over, it goes away.
No, it's recorded.
Oh, okay.
Our secretary, Bridget, records what we talked about.
So if we wanted to view it, we could go back and listen to the entire meeting and it's in.
Or you could get a hold of Bridget and get that recording.
Okay.
One comment I would make on the financials, I think that something we've struggled with in the past is getting full financial statements. We've gotten these key indicators that you talk about, but per the contract, we need full financial statements, balance sheet, monthly operating report, so we can see the full picture. I know that we were able to get that for a couple months in June and July, or July and August, but getting that consistently is really important, I know, to this board.
So we provide the balance sheet, income statement, and that to the MCHD board. And that's part of their packet. Do they also send it to you, or how do they do that? I don't know.
Well, my understanding is, and commissioners, you guys have been here longer than I have, but my understanding is in the past, when senior leadership came in, that was something that they presented. Is that right, commissioners? Yes. And so I think that would be a great thing to get going again with consistency, just so we have a full overview, and getting it on a quarterly basis from senior leadership, I think would probably be an efficient way to do it. Would you guys agree?
I think so, and I think she said the last CFO, when she was in here a couple weeks ago, said she'd only been here for like 7 days. Is that maybe about right, or?
Probably, because I think she came and we had a meeting a day later, so yeah, she was fairly new. So I know that we were talking about putting the key indicators on the website, because the hospital's finances are not easy. I think they're comfortable presenting them, that you can ask questions of the actual CFO, but just so people don't get confused in reading the financial statements, actually posted them on our website. I think it was decided the key indicators might be the abbreviated version that the general public could understand. We're not trying to keep anything from anybody, but it doesn't help putting information out that is misunderstood.
Well, I think certainly key indicators for the website, that may be one thing. I think what comes before this board has to be something a little bit different, and I think my understanding from my client is that they would like that full picture.
Yeah, no, I think that that's what we've provided for MCHD. I don't know what they provide you all because I haven't been here. at your
Yeah, I mean,
meetings.
I mean, MCHD doesn't provide the reports to the county commissioners. That would be directly from the staff when they report. Or you could just send, I mean, or you could just send those monthly, I think is what the county attorney's asking. I think that would be helpful. Just send the same financial packet that you send to our board, to the commissioners as well.
Yeah.
I think that would be helpful, because I think that I mean, just during the time I've been here, we've seen different things, quarterly report by quarterly report, and I think just getting consistent monthly reports would be very helpful to us as we look, and I think that's what's required by the lease agreement as well. I don't have it in front of me right now, but we are required to receive those reports.
Okay, like I said, I was on this folks, not necessarily you, but I mean, however it works. I'm all about however it works. So,
Okay. All right. Do you all have anything else?
Yeah, just one final thing. How do you see this proceeding? Like every 2 months, quarterly, this meeting, or how you want to do this?
I guess I'm open to suggestions. I think for right now, we should at least do it at least every 2 months until we kind of feel like we give the new CEO a couple months and report to us in a work session.
Yeah, we'd like to meet him too.
Plus, we'd like to meet him and
well,
hear from him.
come to our board meeting.
Could we possibly set up a date or tentatively now, or I think it's September or October? And keep it on a Monday, or
Our workshops are always on Mondays, so yeah, it would be on a Monday.
is there, we probably ought to set it
And
up
we
just so we
can,
know.
again, like we said,
tentatively.
we can do it in the evenings if it's easier for you all to.
Yeah.
We're wide open up here. We can do it.
Monday during the day is a little problematic for me because I do
Sure.
have a job.
I understand that, and that's why.
So
we
evenings are much better for me, but
We can have a workshop in the evening also.
We're flexible.
We have September 11th, 18th, or 25th.
Well, let me look here real quick.
well, it seems like the 25th is our board meeting.
On a Monday?
Oh, no, it must be on the 27th. Okay,
Go ahead and pick it. We'll accommodate.
So let's shoot for the 18th,
Monday the 18th.
and what time is better than not, Shirley? 6 o'clock? 7
Six
o'clock?
always works best. It gives me an hour to
6.
get here.
6:30 then?
We're good with that.
Six is good.
Okay.
6 o'clock on the 18th of September.
Okay.
All right, and then we can have further discussion from that meeting going forward. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Bet.
Don't worry too much about that. I'll get it at the end.
It's manageable because always before they had that 80 days.
Did they?
They've always had that.
So it's just been,
We never had one time in those 8 years I served before that they were taken. So somewhere, it's nothing but management. That's what this whole damn deal's all about. That management just sucks. They drive this all these providers out of here. why all these doctors leave.
So it's
Because
the
they
management.
try to manage them with their thumb on top of them, tell them how many clients they gotta see every damn day, and they drive them out of here.
They do that. I've heard that. So who was managing it when you were here? It's not CHC.
Not, well, it's to the same,
Oh,
it's
through the same management company?
same company.
CHC?
Yeah, I don't think this company's changed. Still the same company.
How did it get so far awry then?
It's just difference in management and the way they're managing their company.
So the senior management there.
Yeah. In the company itself is causing this whole damn
This
deal.
is what happens when lawyers manage a company.
The CHC.
When what?
Lawyers manage a company.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay, we're going to continue on with our workshop. Again, thank you all for coming. Next thing we have a discussion is it's related to a project agreement for Road 31 or Forest Service Road 526. Mr. Englehart.
Hello there.
Pick a mic.
I got this one, Zord. Okay. So today I'm presenting a couple of contracts for the Forest Service. One is basically this is a challenge cost share agreement that's come out in a different type of structure for 2024 gravel pit in Ormiston, because our schedule says we'll be done up at Beaver Creek or Beaver Rim here shortly, sometime this late summer, early fall. And then our next move is to Ormiston. So they're wanting to do another contract with us for a small amount up there, and it's just structured a little different than the typical boilerplate type agreement with them, although it's all comes down to the same thing. So, but this one does require 3 signatures, and it will be for 25,000 tons total. That's 10,000 tons of 1 inch and 15,000 tons of 3 inch for a total of $150,000 on an agreement that we do the work. That's a cost share program like that. And then the second one is this one is more structured around our Schedule A agreements. This is where they've found some money to fix the Dolores Norwood Road, $74,750, and that's going to be worked through our Schedule A agreements, which is what we've done in the past. So this is more the boilerplate one. So I brought them today for you guys to review. We sent them to you by email, and hopefully you had a chance to read them. I know Ian did. The first one requires 3 signatures, and then the second one, Jim, just requires your signature. And then Travis, if you'll help me, I can't be here tomorrow, grab these things, because we still got to have a signature from the Forest Service. They're not good or ready to record until we get that done. So we'll grab them up, get them out, send them off, and then bring them back and get them recorded, so at a later date.
And I looked these over. I mean, from a legal standpoint, they're pretty typical what we see in the Forest Service contracts. Obviously, with any of these contracts, the terms are really what matter. And so, I don't read for terms necessarily, but from a legal standpoint, they're good.
Yep. So
I looked
I know
them-
you can't vote, so I'll just drop them
I
out
looked them
there.
over. Yeah, just
Yeah.
leave them here. And then that way we can make that decision tomorrow. But after reading through them, I didn't really have any questions on any of them.
No, it's the same thing. It's just they did scramble and get some money rounded up through the Schedule A agreement structure to fix the Dolores Norwood Road to 550 tons is what they're anticipating. We still don't have a price yet from any suppliers, but we're working on getting it. So we'll go as far as it'll take us, And then the other one had to be structured different than usual because of they're getting the money from the Federal Act for Infrastructure. So it changed the whole way of manipulating through the system, but it still comes out the same in the end.
So this is an additional to our 8% that we crush them for using the pit anyway,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So so we still have the 8%.
If I don't crush anything, I do not owe them 8%. But if I
Correct.
do crush, they're going to get this plus the
Correct.
8% under our agreement. Yes.
Yep.
Right. And we do need to restock up in Ormiston. We're out of material completely up there. So Our next
So-
move will be from Beaver Rim to Ormiston.
So when we do that, that's when we have to crush it.
And this is good through
8%
July of
stockpile.
2024. They're just getting ahead, so when we get in there, they'll all have it in place so we can crush for them and have their material for them, what they want to do.
And then do you really have to place the signage and everything that's in
Oh,
this
yeah.
agreement?
Oh,
That's-
yeah, this is their pile, and this is our pile, and,
And the special signs and all that, as I was reading that, I was like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, they're pretty
Never-
picky about that. The
Okay.
national treasurer wants to know that they have something sitting there, so,
Oh, I was just,
yeah, I know.
I've never drove into the pit to see it, so I guess.
No, we have used, sometimes at points, sold them more out of our piles, but it's not very rare, it's very rare. We make theirs over here and keep theirs over there, and it keeps all the places and pieces in where they belong, so, yep, so,
Okay.
yep,
That's why I made that comment as to terms. Some of that stuff seemed pretty.
yeah.
Oh, it is, I mean, I was kind of reading, I was
Yeah.
bored.
We are doing very well with the Beaver Rim. We're crushing well. The material's very good, a lot better than we expected, and it's in spec. And the first test was a little bit out of CDOT spec. Now, they don't have a spec with the Forest Service, so we're okay no matter what. But it is, now the last test we ran is in spec, and it's doing well according to CDOT Class 6 standards. So we're rolling right through that one. Hopefully we'll get done before the monsoons hit, and we don't sit there in a mud hole and get wet and cause problems, but I think we're gonna be all right, so,
Okay.
yep, so.
On a totally different subject, I saw a bunch of striping equipment sitting in the yard out there. Is that?
Oh, that's for City of Cortez and CDOT out here east of town.
Oh.
They're just borrowing some real estate to park in overnight.
So none of our, we're not, did we have any striping or did we?
They
get all
are,
that
they're gonna be
done?
here on the 26th or 27th to do the road down at the airport and do S Road, and then we're gonna paint what we chip sealed going up 29 into 30 up towards 184, get it repainted, because it was asphalt and then we put the chips over it. So that's all scheduled to get done about the end of the month, so.
And M-Road too? That
Pardon me?
was chip sealed? M-Road?
No, I didn't have it on there.
Okay.
No.
I was just asking, because I was just thinking of those roads that were up there.
No, we're focusing on the asphalt roads because they really need it, and then the old chip seal roads, it's like, it wears off and nobody cares anyway, so why waste the money? So
Okay.
it was gravel and it wasn't striped before, it just
I
kind
got-
of fits, so.
I gotta ask about Highland Terrace up there. Is it on our schedules anywhere? Was it K3 up there?
To do what?
Highland Terrace?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't have anything on the schedule though.
Okay,
Oh, for chip seal repairs?
yeah.
No, but I better go look at it. Thanks for reminding me. That's one of them ones that there's not a lot of noise out of, and so I'll go
Right.
look, yeah, so
Okay,
there must be some noise.
yeah, there is.
I'll go take a look. I'm sorry. So, anyway, we're good on all that. The Forest Service and everything's going well, so I think we'll be moving to Ormiston this fall, so. And that's a
So
good
then-
place to crush in the winter.
So then you basically have their material crushed up there and it's good? We're looking good?
I don't have mine yet, but we want to get ours before we leave there, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we want to get the Forest Services and then we'll jump and do ours. And I'll do the same thing. I won't even change screens. It's looking really good. It's crushing really nice, so. Just move over a little further and make some of ours, so.
The other one I got asked about was 24 north of S.
It got bladed and magged up to T, a little bit past T, and then we did the corner.
Okay,
24 northwest. It all got magged and bladed, all the way to you, and
Okay.
around. And then 23.5 to the highway. So that probably happened since you spoke with them, maybe.
okay.
And then man, since we got you in here, let's just keep it going, huh?
Yeah. Get a list.
So I did read that email in response to, I don't even know the road right there at the cemetery.
What was on the road? I'm sorry.
The magging of that road,
Oh,
the conversation, what is it, what is?
Yes, it got magged. We got it done last
Okay,
week.
so we did, thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, because we wanted to hold off until they said, yes, they were good with that.
They called, I talked to Dusty Foster, and they went and did a poll, and it was overwhelmingly in favor of it. And we did it, we got it done, and I was up there today visiting with a resident about some snow removal on a corner there, and it looked good. I think it set well. First time is always, we'll see, the first one, the second, and third one do the best, but we got it down. It's, the lady I was talking to today was very happy with it. So,
Good.
Yeah, it was good,
Good.
it was good news.
And then the last thing on that was, And again, in the email, the conversation was for the traffic count.
I told Shane not to
be-
do it till we got done magging, and it's done, so he'll get started on that now.
Okay.
And we're working on a price proposal for the group to review what the cost of chip seal would be.
Okay, very good.
We're moving forward. Probably a little slower than what they'd like, but I've been kind of busy, but
Well,
we're getting there, so.
In the emails, and I was very clear in the
You were.
conversation that there was no, I mean, it's super busy right now and would get it as quickly as we could, but I just didn't.
No, they did good. They jumped right on it, got their little survey done, and come back and said, we'd sure like to try it, and so we got that done the next day. So we were ready to wrap things up and told them, hurry, and they did. So it looks good. I think it rides nice and there's no dust, so
All right,
we'll see how long it sticks, so.
thank you.
It is, first time, I mean, if you do a road 2 or 3 times, then it really is nice. But the first ones can be suspect to corners and breaking loose and speed, you know. It'll break loose a little bit. We'll sweeten it up once in a while. So, maybe they'll just live with that. They might like that too. It's
Yeah.
not that bad, I mean, once it's in, so.
Well, and like you said, if you hit it once or twice, makes it
Put
a
that
little
on the
time.
annual spray, and it takes a few years, but once it's in, and that was good gravel. We just gravelled that about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was good and solid, and so it'll soak in, so make good road.
All
Anyway,
right,
so, questions?
Commissioner?
I'm good.
Okay.
All right, guys,
we'll
thanks.
Deal with that tomorrow.
All right. See you
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, with that, we've come to the end of our agenda, and this meeting is terminated. We're done.